Hey, what's the Living Universe? It's Xander, and welcome back to WWE 2K Universe Mode. We're here on Monday Night Raw, hot off the heels of NXT TakeOver 10 just a couple nights ago. We are less than 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. We are 12 nights away from WrestleMania. And speaking of nights, we're kicking the show off with LA Knight in some tag team action. Well, as promised, we're kicking Raw off with the Monday Night Messiah. He's still not cleared, but he's been allowed some time to come out here. Roman Reigns and the Usos have been threatened with further punishment, suspension, fines, and even firing if they lay hands on Rollins tonight as he makes his way to the ring. The Monday Night Messiah here to address his WrestleMania status and, well, just his injury status right now. Rollins, last week, he tried to confront Roman again as soon as Roman insulted friends and family of Seth Rollins. Rollins tried to lash out, and therefore Rollins is... The situation of Rollins being unable to be attacked went out the window due to, of course, the provoke clause. If that makes any sense. He provoked Roman by striking first, so Seth Rollins has some things to say. Last week, there were some things brought to my attention. Some things that I think need to be addressed. Roman said last week that he's the reason I am where I am today. And then he brought an unfortunate point to my attention. He mentioned the way he views me as his creation that wouldn't be here without him. And that it's the way I treated a certain individual for a few years now. And I wanted to make things right. I've personally invited that individual here tonight. So Buddy Murphy, please come out here. I have some things I need to say to you. Well, he's here. He is here. Ladies and gentlemen, there's Buddy Murphy. We've not seen him since the Royal Rumble when he was released from WWE. Murphy. Answering the call of the Monday Night Messiah. Murphy, my first disciple. You were someone I took for granted for far too long. I treated you like dirt. I threw you to the wolves to make you take claymores, power bombs, muscle busters, haluva kicks, and stunners so that I didn't have to. You won the United States Championship on your own, and I tried to make you hand it over. I stole your shot at becoming the #1 contender to the Universal title. I made you try and help me win a match you could have won on your own. The way I treated you was unfair. You never did anything to deserve the concussions, the chair shots, the curb stomps, none of the beatdowns. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything I've done to you. I'm proud of you, Murphy. And I wanted to make things right tonight. Who is this? Who's this cowering fool standing in front of me? I leave WWE for 2 months, and I come back to find the Monday Night Messiah as nothing more than a sniveling coward. The Seth Rollins I knew doesn't bow his head and beg for forgiveness. You were a coward before, but this is a whole new level. And if you walk into WrestleMania this way, Roman Reigns is going to end you. WrestleMania, you cannot walk in as the moping Seth Rollins begging for forgiveness. You can't play Messiah either, though. Because Seth, at WrestleMania, you need to kick the door off its damn hinges and be Seth freaking Rollins. You need to take all the claims, all the words, everything that Roman Reigns has put you through, and you need to burn it down. So we're getting the show with tag team action as here comes the United States Champion to the ring. Here comes LA Knight. LA Knight, we've now learned, will defend the United States Championship in a six-pack elimination matchup at WrestleMania against Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, Ricochet, Mustafa Ali, and Bronson Reed. Last man standing will be the United States Championship. So LA Knight tonight is teaming up with a man not involved in that matchup, but a man who has another WrestleMania match. That's the man who faces Sami Zayn, and what we now can confirm is a #1 contenders match to the WWE Championship. It's Kevin Owens. The prize fighter was recently, just this past week, on Raw, had his suspension revoked. He is now officially back on Monday Night Raw, but that also means that Sami Zayn has been medically cleared to compete, a man we're about to see right now. Sami Zayn, medically cleared, will be facing Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, one-on-one, #1 contendership to the WWE title on the line. Sami Zayn making his way to the ring. He's teaming up with one of LA Knight's opponents for WrestleMania. He's teaming up with Ricochet. Sami Zayn and Ricochet teaming up tonight to take on LA Knight and Kevin Owens in some tag team action. We've got a lot going on tonight when it comes to tag teams, because after this match, we're going to be seeing the Mysterios versus the Viking Raiders in a #1 contenders match to the Raw Tag Team Championships. So Ricochet making his way to the ring. Ricochet and Sami Zayn, I believe this is the first time they've ever teamed up right here tonight, as Ricochet enters the ring. Let's get this matchup underway. So Sami Zayn and LA Knight starting it off. Of course, LA Knight took the United States Championship from Sami Zayn's mentor, El Generico, back at TLC, as Knight, right hand, no, Sami kicks him in the ribs. And now Sami Zayn, sunset flips to LA Knight. And now Sami picking Knight back up to his feet. Sami Zayn, Northern Lights to LA Knight. LA Knight is down, Sami picking him right back up to his feet, and Sami Zayn goes for a right. LA Knight slams him. LA Knight with Zayn off the ropes. LA Knight, spine buster. Picks Sami Zayn back up to his feet, and LA Knight jabs him. And again, Sami with a counter. Sami Zayn, well, LA Knight throws him in the corner. Sami out of the way, and Owens knows got out of the apron as soon as Sami was about to try and tag, or as soon as LA Knight was trying to tag. Tag made, Ricochet in now. Ricochet going after the U.S. champion. Double axe handle connects. And now Ricochet scoops him up, and oh, look at that! Drops LA Knight. Picks him in the ribs now. LA Knight picked back up. LA Knight dropping Ricochet. Picking him right back up to his feet now, and Ricochet in trouble. LA Knight, no, Ricochet with a right hand. Ricochet head scissor takedown to LA Knight. Standing shooting star press as well. Ricochet fired himself up here as he picks LA Knight back up to his feet. Ricochet grabs Knight, throws him into the corner. Ricochet, nobody home. LA Knight with Ricochet into the corner. LA Knight, tag made. Kevin Owens is in. Kevin Owens, double axe handle to Ricochet. Owens scoops up Ricochet, picks him up. Owens plants him in the mat. And now Owens boots Ricochet in the ribs, forcing his boot into the ribs of Ricochet. Down goes Ricochet as now Owens taking him back to his feet. Right hand and a jab. Owens, no, Ricochet with a punch to the ribs. Ricochet grabs Owens and throws him into the corner. Ricochet, tag made to Sami Zayn. Oh, here we go. And now Ricochet and Sami, double backstabber to Owens. The irony of a backstabber to Owens, huh? Sami with an elbow. Sami and Kevin getting into it for the first time since SummerSlam. This is the first time either man has been able to lay a hand on one another since SummerSlam. At least in terms of Sami Zayn getting offense in. And even then, SummerSlam, it was... Well, Kevin Owens immediately tagging out. Letting LA Knight get into the ring with Sami instead. Owens seems to not want any part of Sami until he has to at WrestleMania. Knight with a kick to the ribs. There's a jab and another. LA Knight firing away on Sami Zayn. LA Knight grabs Sami. Knee strike to the ribs. LA Knight now headbutts him into the corner. And no, Sami turns it around. Sami Zayn with LA Knight. Scoops him up. Slams him down. Sami Zayn. Here we go. The split leg moonsault. Cover. 1, 2, no. LA Knight kicks out. He picks up LA Knight again. Now Sami Zayn grabs him. LA Knight with a headbutt. LA Knight grabs Sami, scoops him up. Sami Zayn. Bring a reverse DDT. Excuse me. And now LA Knight going for Kevin Owens, who just shakes his head. No. Instead, Sami throws LA Knight in the corner. Now Sami Zayn. Haluva kick to the U.S. champion. Owens walking away. 1, 2. It's over. Owens leaving LA Knight to the Wolves. Your winners, Sami Zayn and the one and only Ricochet. We got a number 1 contenders match for the Raw Tag Titles up next. LS11 Universe has a Patreon. What's on the Patreon, you might wonder? Well, at any dollar amount, you get access to the LS11 podcast, a podcast that takes a deeper dive into canceled storylines from Universe Mode, as well as a look into the lives of myself and Ray. Also, at any dollar amount, you get early access to side series on the channel outside of the Universe Modes. Not just that, but at any dollar amount, you also get access to every exclusive Patreon video, including the likes of Carnold trying to break the streak in 2K14, and the once-a-month series, Universal Flashbacks, where I remaster a classic match from the original LS11 Universe Mode. At the $5 and above tier, you get your name in the credits of every video on the LS11 Universe channel. And at the $10 tier, you get a personalized thank you video sent to you by me every month, as well as the ability to suggest what pay-per-view or classic show we watch on the bi-weekly Friday watch-alongs. And once we've reached our big goal on Patreon, we'll be launching a Patreon-exclusive Universe Mode as voted on by you, our Patreon backers. So if you're willing and able, please consider backing us on Patreon. Link is in the description. So the winners of this matchup are going to face Shane Thorne and Dio Madden at WrestleMania for the Raw Tag Team titles. As here comes Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic to the ring. Former Raw Tag Team champions. In fact, were the former champions before. Oh, dear God. Oh, wait a minute! The Raw Tag Champions! Thorne and Madden jumping the Mysterios. I'm now being told they did the same thing backstage to the Viking Raiders just before the matchup. They let the Viking Raiders laying in gorilla. As Dominic trying to fight back against Shane Thorne, but that monstrous Dio Madden turning it back around, and Shane Thorne going into Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio and Dominic, they're both trying to fight back, but Shane Thorne planting Rey Mysterio. Well, after Kevin Owens leaves LA Knight to the Wolves, Sami Zayn and Ricochet get the win. The number 1 contenders match originally supposed to be between the Mysterios and the Viking Raiders. Well, it doesn't happen as Shane Thorne and Dio Madden leave both teams laying Viking Raiders, as I said, found backstage. The Mysterios just laid out moments ago. Mustafa Ali gets a win over Titus O'Neil as Ali prepares for the six-pack challenge. Charlotte Flair knocks off Bayley one-on-one. Up next, Bianca Belair takes on Women's Royal Rumble winner Shayna Baszler. And in the main event, number one contender to the WWE title, Daniel Bryan, takes on Riddle. So here comes the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair to the ring. Belair has a big opportunity tonight. She's taking on the Women's Royal Rumble winner. Belair making her way to the ring. But, as I said, Belair is taking on the Women's Royal Rumble winner, the only woman to win the Raw, SmackDown, and NXT Women's Championships in LS11 Universe, the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler, making her way to the ring. Baszler won the Women's Royal Rumble in dominant fashion, and now she challenges the woman who defeated her for the NXT Women's Championship so long ago in the form of Rhea Ripley in just 12 days' time at WrestleMania. So Shayna Baszler makes her way to the ring. Baszler and Bianca one-on-one. Here we go. Belair. Oh, knee in the back. Goes for a kick. Shayna out of the way. Shayna. German suplex. Of course, it was this time last year that that Shayna Baszler walked into WrestleMania as the Raw Women's Champion, losing the championship to Ronda Rousey that night. Belair goes for a drop kick. Baszler with a running knee strike. Baszler now, right hand. And there's a jab. And now Baszler puts her in the ropes. Shayna Baszler turns her around. Pushing her into the ropes now is Shayna. And Shayna Baszler choking Belair in those ropes. Belair goes down to one knee. Into the ropes now is Bianca. And now Shayna grabs her knee into the back from Shayna Baszler. Just driving that knee into the back of Bianca Belair. Belair pulling herself into the ropes now. And Belair, oh, another knee strike from Shayna. Shayna Baszler now picking Belair back up to her feet. There's a jab to the ribs. And again, Belair counters with a right hand. Now Bianca Belair grabs Shayna and takes her down. Belair. Knee into the back of Shayna. Shayna Baszler. Oh, Bianca Belair, watch out. Shayna. Elbow strike to Belair. Right hand from Belair. And now Bianca Belair scoops her up on her shoulders. Power slam. Picking her up now to her feet. Shayna Baszler. Uppercut to Bianca. For a right hand. Belair counters. Now Bianca Belair picks up Shayna. And Belair grabs Shayna Baszler. Scoops her up. Has her up again. Look at this, doing some presses with her. Power slams her again. We're seeing why Belair calls herself the strongest. There he is. And now she turns over Shayna Baszler into a cover. One. No. There's a kick to the ribs now from Baszler. Baszler with her right hand. And Baszler grabs Bianca. Throws her across the ring. And now Baszler picking Bianca back up to her feet. Kicks her in the ribs. Shayna Baszler scoops her up for gut wrench. Rolls over her now, and Shayna Baszler looking for a second. Here comes another gut wrench. Cover. 1, 2, no. And now Shayna Baszler picking Bianca Belair back up to her feet, and Shayna Baszler goes for a jab. Belair with a gut punch. And now Belair, knee to the back. Shayna Baszler goes down. Shayna Baszler now, whoa, sweeps the leg of Belair. And now Baszler picks Belair back up to her feet. There's a jab to the ribs, and again. And now Baszler with Belair into the corner. Baszler with a knee strike. Shayna Baszler. German suplex. Now Baszler laughing as Bianca Belair spills to the outside. Belair struggling back to her feet. Here comes Bianca Belair. Shayna Baszler kicks her in the ribs. Uh-oh. Here we go. Into Karafuda clutch. Karafuda clutch in on Bianca Belair. Cutting off those air passages, and Bianca Belair forced to tap out. Shayna Baszler puts down Bianca Belair. The Women's Royal Rumble winner making a statement tonight. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Rhea Ripley. Spear. Ripley proving a point tonight. Dumps Baszler out of the ring. And the Raw Women's Champion going after one of her greatest rivals. Rhea grabs Baszler from the back of the neck. Ripley puts her in the barricade, and Rhea Ripley. Oh, Baszler trying to fight back. Baszler and Ripley now brawling at ringside. Baszler picks up Ripley. Ripley counters. Ripley, uh-oh. Boot to Baszler. Good night. Main event up next. Well, here we go, ladies and gents. It is main event time, as here comes one of the men challenging for the United States Championship. Here comes the original bro, Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle making his way to the ring. The King of Bros. He's got a big opportunity at WrestleMania to become United States Champion. It'll be the first WrestleMania for Matt Riddle. He didn't debut here on Raw until the night after WrestleMania Season 1 on Draft Night, when he confronted Seth Rollins and, well, the man we saw earlier tonight, Rollins' former disciple, Buddy Murphy. Just to make it perfectly clear for those that might be thinking it, Buddy Murphy has not been re-signed by LS11 Universe. He was a special guest brought here by Seth Rollins for one night only, so Murphy has not been re-signed to the LS11 Universe, unfortunately. As Matt Riddle makes his way to the ring. He's taking on the man who challenges Bobby Roode in a winner-take-all match at WrestleMania. And by winner-take-all, I do mean that if this man loses, if Daniel Bryan cannot defeat Bobby Roode at WrestleMania, then it's go home for D. Bryan. It's go home for Daniel Bryan if he can't beat Bobby Roode. So Daniel Bryan makes his way to the ring. This could be one of his final 2 weeks in LS11 Universe. He takes on Matt Riddle in our main event. The WrestleMania match card is getting very full. Due to the full card not being fully announced yet, I can't fully run through it. But if you want to see what's been announced so far, you can either join the Discord, link in the description, or you can go to the Twitter, also linked in the description, I believe, if not linked on the channel. Riddle planting Bryan there. And there's a thread on Twitter and on, Discord of the matches confirmed so far as Riddle. Oh, no. Bryan with a right hand. Now Bryan grabs Riddle. Full Nelson suplex into a cover. 1. No. Turns him over now. And now Daniel Bryan grabs Matt Riddle. And what's Bryan thinking here? Bryan turns the neck over, turns him over. Working over that arm now is Daniel Bryan. And Bryan stops the arm of Matt Riddle. And now Riddle takes out the legs of Bryan. Matt Riddle, ground and pound. We saw Riddle tap out Ricochet last week in an ankle lock. Riddle is a bit of a submission specialist in his own right, as is Daniel Bryan, so this will be a very interesting matchup to see as Riddle coming off the ropes now. Riddle, boom, smack to the face of Daniel Bryan. You know this is a guy, Daniel Bryan, definitely wanted to face. If Bryan's going out at WrestleMania, this is a guy Bryan wanted to face at least once before LS11 Universe. His time in LS11 Universe came to a close. But if Bryan can become WWE Champion again at WrestleMania, then that's not anything we've got to worry about, as Bryan's stomping away on Matt Riddle. And now Bryan into a cover on Riddle. Bryan, 1, 2, no. Riddle gets the shoulders up. And now Daniel Bryan grabs Riddle, back up to his feet. Bryan grabs Riddle. Northern Lights takes him down. And Bryan picks up Riddle. Riddle, spine buster. Riddle right back into the ground and pound. And a stomp for good measure. And now Riddle picking Bryan back up to his feet. Matt Riddle pulls him in. Riddle gonna look for Bro Hammer. 1, 2, Bryan kicks out. And now Riddle grabs the legs. Bryan shoves him back. And now Daniel Bryan kicks Riddle down. And now Bryan grabs the arm of Riddle and stomp to the arm from Daniel. And now Daniel Bryan going up top. What is Bryan thinking? Daniel goes for an elbow. And now Riddle, there's a chop and a punch and a chop and a punch. Off the ropes comes Riddle with that knee strike. Cover. 1, 2, Bryan kicks out. Bryan kicks out, and now Riddle, spinning wheel kick. Grabs Bryan, Bryan rolls through, and Riddle caught with a drop toe hold. Bryan, kick to the knees, and now here comes Daniel Bryan. Yes kicks. And one more for good measure. And now Daniel Bryan gonna go for running knee. Cover. 1, 2, 3. Another win for Daniel Bryan. But that's going to do it for tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Next week is the final Raw before WrestleMania. It's going to be a bit of a mini pay-per-view in its own right, because we're playing every match next week, including Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali, Bayley versus Rhea Ripley, Nakamura versus Kevin Owens, Apollo Crews, no, we haven't determined his opponent yet, and Daniel Bryan will fight Finn Balor in what could be Bryan's final match on Monday Night Raw. Thank you all for watching this week's episode of Raw. I've been Xander. That was Universe.